Hello and welcome to the Med Spa Scaler podcast, the place where med spa owners, aesthetic entrepreneurs, and cosmetic surgeons go from overwhelmed to unstoppable. I'm your host Irina. Whether you're here for marketing tips, mindset shifts, or major growth hacks, I've got you covered. Okay, hi everyone. So today we have with us Megan McFarland, the owner of Wells Plastic Surgery in Lexington, Kentucky. I met Megan about a couple of months ago and we were talking about all things marketing. And one of the things she mentioned is that they have a very successful in-person shopping drive event that they run 2 to 3 times a year. And the reason I wanted to bring her on today so she can share her secrets with all of you is because when it comes to events, I do see that as a struggle for a lot of med spa owners because it's not easy, right? There's so many different things to juggle, so many different things to have in place. So I wanted to interview Megan today to learn more how she does things so she can spill the secret sauce with us. Megan, tell us a little bit about your business first.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, we have a plastic surgery practice. It's a Quad A accredited surgical facility in Lexington, Kentucky. And we do have a non-surgical side to it. So it very much is like the med spa environment. And we have a board certified plastic surgeon. And we run shopping days 3 times a year in the spring, fall, and winter. And we just finished ours, and it's a hard thing to do, to pull off events, and especially around the holidays and with other med spas and businesses having events around that time. We have it where we do the Friday before the event. We usually start a pre-sale, and it runs through the following week. And then on Thursday during business hours, 9 to 5, or we usually stay open until 6. We have a drive-thru fashion where patients can, shop our specials online or call in, but also drive through and have mini consults or, speak with one of us to feel better about what they're purchasing. And we usually have like a taco truck or a cupcake truck or donut, something fun. And it's just a really big event for patients to come out and, find out more about us, or if they're existing patients, take advantage of some specials that we run. We don't discount throughout the year except for on our shopping days. And we do have different, very curated, intentional specials that we run. Usually we've got a Dysport package where patients can buy 75 units and get 15 free. We just purchased Ignite through InMode, and so we had some specials on some non-surgical skin tightening, body contouring.
What was the discount on that? Just curious what specials you guys ran on those.
What we did with that is we don't discount our surgical services, obviously, but these are they are also non-surgical, minimally invasive procedures. We added and included the first radiofrequency microneedling treatment with it. So we have Morpheus burst and scale. So if they purchased a quantum, say submental area or abdomen, arms, then they would get the first Morpheus treatment included with that. And then we also ran specials on just the RF microneedling with Morpheus. We also have Genius, which is very similar. But we do packages of 3, and if they purchase an area like by the face, they would get the neck free. So it is a good way it gives about a $3,600 value for
a really good value, yeah.
Yeah. And then we have scratch-offs to win prizes, which patients absolutely love. Some are skincare products, or we have bigger treatments like win a package of 3 Morpheus and lots of other exciting events. Dysport for a year for free, all kinds of fun stuff.
That's awesome. So you have a lot of prizes to also attract them.
Yes.
So over the years, how do you decide on promotions? Do you have the same ones and then you add new ones? Or do you change them all the time? Is there a predictable factor that, okay, we know that 2 or 3 times a year we'll get Botox and, Or like, do you kind of switch them up?
We actually do both. So it keeps it fresh, but it also for our existing patients, the Dr. Wells recently retired and I acquired the practice in June. So I can't take full credit. The Wells have done a great job of establishing this over 4 decades. But they really have done a nice job at, providing some stability for patients that are, on a budget like all of us and want to, plan accordingly. But then we also mix in some new and fresh, promotions, and we do it seasonally also. Like in the winter, fall, winter, it's a good time to take advantage of, IPL specials or laser hair removal, where there's services that aren't ideal in the summer. So we do try to also take that into consideration. And another factor is it really kind of holds us as providers accountable to plans of care. So it's really nice for a lot of patients because we try to come up with a plan of care for included in the whole year so that patients can sequence their treatments appropriately and budget for it and make sure that we've got that in place so that they know what to look forward to. And it's great for patient retention and it elevates the practice. It is a medical facility, so we do, try to do good faith exams, and, that gives the patients the safety and predictability and able to plan to budget and all of the good things. So the patients keep us accountable because they plan according to the shopping days as well. So they're like, okay, what are we doing this next shopping day? What are we, and it's really fun.
What is just curious, what are some of the top revenue generators out of all the promotions? I know whenever like we run promotions for clients, Botox seems to be like super popular and always kind of brings a good amount of revenue. There's also other things. What about for you guys? What's kind of the top two, number one that generates the most revenue?
I would say the radio frequency microneedling package. And I looked at the numbers. The 3 shopping days bring in about, I guess, over the last 6 months, it's been about 42% of our annual revenue. So it's
Huge.
yes. And this winter was a little bit lower with it falling. We had our pre-sale. We were closed for Thanksgiving, so our pre-sale was on Wednesday instead of a Friday. So our numbers were a little bit lower this past winter, and it's still, so I'd say closer to about half the revenue of the year. I would say skincare as well, because we don't discount skincare throughout, and that made up about 33% of the total revenue. But as far as return on investment, I would say the radio frequency microneedling, quantum, some of the bigger procedures that do have a cost of goods associated, but in the grand scheme of things, it's probably probably those are the top two, I would say. And Sculptra, we're the Sculptra Center of Excellence, so we try to do a Sculptra package and a Dysport package every time. And the Dysport probably, I would say, gets the patients in the door, but the other packages are probably more return on investment.
What does the Sculptra package look like, if you don't mind sharing?
We do that a little bit differently, and we try to make it, obtainable for all, but also sometimes we'll throw in a bigger package. Like if you buy 2 Sculptra, get one half price. But then we also offer 20% off, and that includes the Sculptra and fillers and products, with the exception of the neurotoxins.
Okay, so those are the Sculptra packages.
If we do a Sculptra package, then it usually comes out to be about 25% off total. So
Okay.
if it's like a buy. So, but if they want to purchase it individually, like one Sculptra and not get the whole package, then they can take advantage of the 20% off.
Okay.
So it's a great way to save a lot of money, but they also know that is the only time that we discount. So it's a win-win where they can, feel like they're getting value, but also it makes it nice on us because we also can focus on, treatments when we're in the rooms and not have to necessarily negotiate price.
Right, right. It makes sense down the road. So it sounds like a lot of the business is repeat business, correct? in terms of like people who purchase? I'm curious how you attract. So number one, how do you drum up the word about the event? How do you like get the word out? And if there's anything you guys do to attract new patients to the event?
We do, and that's one of the metrics that's a little bit harder to track from a marketing standpoint, in that we have run commercials through WLEX, and when patients come in, they don't necessarily say that they saw us on TV, because then they usually go to our website or go to social media to look us up. And when they come in, then they say, oh, I found you online, or, on social media. But in tracking the numbers, it does show that, in doing the commercials, the sales for those months have also increased. So I think that I would say the commercials probably draw more of the newer patients, whereas social media and email for existing patients. And then we also try to send out text reminders and talk to patients, at their appointments. So when we're planning their plan of care, we usually try to keep a list of, what is on patients' wish list, so that we can, text them through our website, HIPAA compliant, of course, but text them what, if they have questions about what they are supposed to purchase or what's on their wish list to purchase, we can help them with that as well.
So you talk to them about the event during the appointment as well?
Yes, and especially for patients that are, really wishes, like most of us, they're on a budget and they're trying to, be very diligent and compliant on their plans of care. But, let's be real, these services aren't necessarily cheap. So we try to, really strategically plan in that, results can be enhanced by doing it in certain sequences. And then we do try to sequence that around when they can take advantage of, specials. We do have patients that say, no, I'm here, I just want to do it now, I don't really care, but more so the other.
How how far ahead do you start promoting the event?
We start about 2 weeks before. We start planning much further out
close.
before that. But yeah, we try not to bombard patients with a lot. So it's one of those that we find the closer the better. Otherwise, patients will think of it, and then by the time it comes, how we get busy and life gets in the way, and then they forget. So we really, obviously it's planned out ahead of time, and we get a lot of support from our vendors and reps, and, samples. We make up goodie bags, and each car gets a, goodie bag full of, free samples and whatnot. So it's really fun. And then every fifth car wins a prize, whether it be a product or $25 off or a service. So there's a lot of fun ways to, win or take advantage of getting, some free goodies. But yeah, usually about 2 weeks ahead of time. And then we kind of build up from there.
So for the in-person events, do you give them an option to buy online as well? Or do they, since it's an in-person event, they'd have to show up to buy? How does that work?
No, anytime we start the Friday before, and then we go all the way Monday through Thursday the following week, we do have a last call, on Friday, where we try to promote, that Friday before through Thursday, but we do take orders that following Friday. So they can purchase online, they can call us and purchase. And a lot of patients just like to, shop online and, have it, think about it and purchase, but then they may still come by for the live event just to, come see us. And it's fun. It's, a lot of patients come out and just to talk to us, and a chance to win services and products and all that good stuff.
So tell me a little bit about, there's a little bit of an echo. Tell me a little bit about the logistics of the kind of the event during those days. I mean, because you guys are not shutting down, right, for the event. You're not closing the whole business for the event, right? How does it all work?
We do.
How does it work?
We actually don't see patients that day. Yeah, none of us see patients that day, and all the providers are outside, including our surgeon. We have, many consults where patients, they may be brand new and they're interested in plastic surgery. And I've had a patient that came actually one day last week and had a series of 3 microneedling treatments, a filler, and some Dysport, and she was brand new. But we are very we're medical providers and we want to make sure patients get the right service, so they also know if they purchase something and it isn't necessarily what they need, we can switch it to what would benefit them the most. But yeah, we are all outside and it's a lot of energy. Tons of people come out, and then the gals are really busy inside ringing up orders, and patients can come inside and we carry glow makeup, and they can come in and shop. So it's we see patients throughout the week, but that Thursday of the live shopping day drive-through, we don't see patients. So
Okay, so it's one day when you don't see patients, the other days you still see patients. You don't just shut down the business.
it gets a little wild during the other days, I'm not gonna lie, but it's like the best kind of busy, exactly what you want when you're happily tearing your hair out.
That sounds a lot of fun too. Um, how big is your current? I'm just thinking again, thinking in terms of marketing and logistics when you send emails out. How big is your current list? How many people are you, promoting it to internally?
That is a good question. I'd probably have to ask to find out. That is the marketing is, I'm usually a provider, so marketing isn't my strongest suit, but I can find out and get back to you on that.
And then I guess, do you have anything else to share? I do have one more question kind of to wrap this up, but do you have anything else that you want to share about the event that's like kind of important to like think of it this way? So anyone who wants to run an in-person event, what are the advice you'd give them?
I would say rep support is very big. Like we said, we reach out to our reps and they happily, give us samples, and, they, it helps with like the goodie bags. A lot of times there's vendor support as far as prizes, even like our Genius rep gave us like pillowcases even, or just, different things that they get that, it really helps to kind of support the event. And consistency, I think that it probably hasn't, I've gotten very blessed to step in to fill some very big shoes and with a lot of experience and a big legacy, but it starts small and is, the patients get brand awareness where they know, oh, shopping day is coming up, and then it just kind of grows from there. So I think it's consistency is key, and it doing it just over time, I think that it really helps. And patients keep us accountable because, like I said, we try to do plans of care, but if we don't, they're like, okay, what are we doing for shopping day? What are we doing for, for this? So it kind of keeps us on our toes and, helps us to, do what we're supposed to do better. But it's really fun, a lot of excitement and just consistency.
So you mentioned consistency. So do you keep the date kind of for every single event about the same so you can create that consistency and predictability for these events?
Yes, we do. We usually try to do it around the 1st of September, and then either late November, early December, and then again probably middle of March. So we do try to keep it fairly consistent. Sometimes we'll have like a staff member on vacation. We kind of juggle the internal metrics to make sure that it aligns, but for the most part, we do to keep it very consistent.
And no vacations allowed during that time, right?
That's right. Yeah, we want happy staff, so we do try to take all the things into consideration.
And then my final question is regarding logistics, who handles, do you have a designated person? Because that's just so much to kind of manage and oversee and plan for. Do you have someone on the team kind of assigned to take ownership and kind of run with the event details and do everything?
It's neat because we have a small team. We have about 10 to 15 members on our team total. And I'd say we're interchangeable to a certain extent, but then we all kind of have where we have our places where we rise. And I'd say our marketing gal is an event planner extraordinaire. And then our practice administrator and lead esthetician, who has 20 years of experience and started actually in dermatology. we work together as a team, but I would say as far as like the promotions, the little shopping day cards, the marketing, all that, lining up with the TV, that would be our marketing gal. And then reaching out to vendors, we all kind of chip in and do our part, but I would say our marketing gal is probably the lead point person as far as, the timing, kind of getting the ball rolling and the plan underway.
So it's a team. It's hard.
It takes every one of us.
All right. Thank you so much, Megan, for your time today. I really appreciate all the insights you shared with us. I think this is very important for anyone especially anyone looking to move away from all these kind of running monthly specials and discounts and kind of do something that helps with sales, but not discount services all the time, so you don't create a culture of discounting. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
If you got value from this conversation with Megan, share this episode with a med spa owner who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'll see you in the next one.